you, Pat. The scene is the Forum, and what a scene it is. Game 2 of the NBA Finals, and our viewers have the treat of watching a marvelously tuned basketball team. Al Davis has had some fine football clubs with the Raiders, and the Lakers are a joy to watch. They routed the Celtics in Game 1, and they're doing it again today, and that's how they're doing it, with the fast break. 57-7 edge in fast break points.
The Lakers have the perfect style and the perfect talent to zero in on the Celtics' weaknesses, and they have been picking at that like a fighter does against another fighter with a cut over the eye. They never give up.
Roberts scored that last basket. Magic Johnson, by the way, has 22 points and 20 assists. He's on the bench right now. Michael Thompson knocks it out of bounds. It'll be Boston ball. So here are the players out there. It's Vincent and Seasting, Day, Roberts, and Kite for the Celtics. Michael Thompson and Rambis, AC Green, Scott, and Cooper for the Lakers.
They have everybody on the Lakers team has expanded their responsibility and their roles. Cooper has become an excellent middleman, takes the pressure off Magic Johnson having to force the pace all by himself. Cooper does it almost as well now.
Well, Pat Riley's going to go deeper to his bench. Byron Scott Hicks. Scott has 23 points, and he was the key man in the opening period for the Lakers with 10. Vincent answers that with a jumper.
Watch Cooper read that defense now. He's making those good decisions that every coach likes to see a player make, that runs the ball club in the middle on a fast break.
Speaking of running, Roberts ran there, missed the shot. Cooper finds Scott. And he'll shoot a pair. Wes Matthews is into the ball game now, replacing Michael Cooper. Standing ovation for Michael Cooper. He set an NBA record 6 3-point baskets in an NBA final game. 21 points and 9 assists for Cooper. He tied a league record with 8 assists in a single period. That was the second. And Magic Johnson matched that with 8 assists in the third period. So we may be seeing more than just a few records for the Lakers before we're all done here.
Dick, what I'm seeing is two ball games are statement games which had nothing to do with home court. I don't think the Lakers are going to be dissuaded from doing what they can do so well, even if they play in the Boston Garden.
Connor Henry into the ball game for the Celtics. St. Vincent misses, and Rambis the rebound. Matthews been with 5 teams in 5 years. Insurance point guard for the Lakers this year. Under 6 minutes to go. Lakers already have scored 127.
You know what they're going to do with Byron Scott this summer? Next year at the training camp, get him to work a little bit more on handling the ball in the middle.
Connor Henry, foul. Well, the Lakers don't ever say they were a perfect basketball team. Maybe there's some things they can do to get better.
Well, every middleman, every time you expand the possibility of who's going to be able to bring the ball up, that makes it much more difficult to stop that team.
Scott goes out. Big game today for Byron, 24 points. And he's replaced by Adrian Branch. Second round pick last year of the Bulls and played in the Continental Basketball Association. He has some offensive moves.
He's a streaker, Adrian Branch, and a good outside shooter to boot.
Henry missed the free throws. It's still Boston ball. Larry Bird, 23 points for the Celtics, and
I think the Celtics made the classic mistake. They're really going to have to show patience in order to slow this team down and not throw the ball away in their half-court offense.
Michael Thompson with another block shot. Wes Matthews into Rambis, and a foul. Wes Matthews Matthews, an interesting story. His wife is Pam Moore, who excelled in the 440, a great track star. He says he has a young son now, so she's given up the track days. But you can talk to Wes Matthews about the kind of speed that the Lakers have. I mean, he's with the right kind of ball club, and a lot of people think Wes may be one, if not the fastest player on the team if they had a race.
They didn't use him an awful lot in that middleman role. That's why they got him, however. But Pat Riley expanded that role to all these other players, so Matthews did not play an awful lot of time.
It's 129 to 105. Rambis has 6 points, all in this fourth period. Greg Kite gets it into Fred Roberts, and Roberts is fouled. Roberts started 4 playoff games, and he was used as a starter earlier this year for the Celtics, and then backed up a lot of forward positions. He actually was a key man early in the year, wasn't he?
Filled in for Larry Bird, who was hurt with a sore back a couple of times and had some big nights in the 20s. He's not a one-on-one player, but he is awfully intelligent on how to get open and get his hands up. The other thing with Fred Roberts is perhaps he's not as strong as some of the other people that he faces against at that power forward spot.
The Milwaukee Bucks, one of the low points in Celtic history, 4-game sweep. And then Casey Jones became the head coach, replacing Bill Fitch. Alley-oop to Green doesn't quite work, and it's out of bounds. And Mike Spreck, former Chicago Bull, replaces A.C. Green. He scored 6 points tonight. Michael Thompson goes out of the ball game. Green stays in. Connor Henry, who hit a bunch of 3-pointers against Milwaukee and became a crowd favorite at Boston Garden earlier this year.
A lot of people think that he's got a bright future with the Boston Celtics.
Came over from Houston, where he played with the Rockets, and Green is fouled. But you emphasized the point the other day, Tommy, that even with the aging Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I guess you shouldn't use the word aging, even though he's 40 years old, is that Pat Riley decided to go back to quickness and speed, even with Kareem in the lineup, when he loaded up on the Peter Goodmansons and the Burkowskis and the Kupchaks in the last few years. He abandoned that style.
You know, and that made Kareem a role player. And he had to be pretty assured that Kareem would accept that role. Kareem now has become a supporting character actor instead of the leading man. And I think he ought to, if in terms of the acting world, he would win an Academy Award for a character actor this year. That's how well he's played in that role.
131 to 109. Lakers won by 13 in the opening game Tuesday. Roberts has his shot tipped away by Mike Spreck. They'll call it goaltending. It was on the way down.
You know, it's always fascinated me about Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson has never won an MVP in the All-Star game. And he has really supplied the ball to several players who have won the MVP. And I was so pleased to see him win the MVP award for the league this year, because he just makes the game easier for other people.
Celtic foul inside, and of course he's the first guard to win the most valuable player since Oscar Robertson turned the trick in 1964. Greg Kite committing the foul, and Rambis is shooting. So Kite has already committed 3 fouls.
I think Greg Kite ought to apply for a new number on his jersey next season so the officials